Good morning, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our Central Jersey chapter SCORE webinar, how to maximize your working hours without overwhelming yourself. I think we'd all like to know how to do that. I'm Jane Meyer, and I'm with the SCORE Central Jersey chapter. I believe probably most of you are very familiar with SCORE. We help small businesses get started or grow, or help you solve your problems if you've already been in business for a while. We're nationwide and have about 10,000 mentors across the US. So if somebody in our chapter can't help you, we can certainly find somebody who can help you. The most important thing that SCORE does is we offer webinars and seminars, mostly for free. Some chapters charge a small fee, like the one you're attending today. And you can check our websites and so forth. We have lots of webinars right now. We have lots of business resources. Probably any topic you can think of, we have information on that topic. Again, you could go to our website, centraljersey.score.org, and find all of those resources. And then I think the most important thing we do is mentoring. So if you would like a mentor to work with you on any aspect of your business you would like, again, go to our website and you'll fill out a very, very short form, and then we'll get you a mentor and come work with us. We would love to have you. Our chapter serves Middlesex, Somerset, and Hunterdon counties, but right now we're virtual. So we're all chapters are serving anybody who comes to them because we're doing most of our work on Zoom. This morning, we have, I think, an exciting topic, how to maximize your working hours. Our presenter is Tanisha Halstad, and I want to thank Tanisha for being with us today. Tanisha is a SCORE client. She started her own business a little over 2 years ago, and she's doing very well with her virtual business and is learning a lot and helping a lot of her clients. So she is a small business owner. She knows where she comes from. She's a mom of 2 young boys, and she has another full-time job. So she's got a lot of overwhelm in her life. She's a business operations consultant, and her business is Virtually Centered Solutions, LLC. And you see her email right here. You can contact her if you want to ask questions. We'll share her slides after this is over, and I believe she has a worksheet that we'll share as well. So again, thank you, Tanisha, for being with us today and presenting, and take it away.
All right, thank you, Jane. I'm gonna go ahead and get my slides up. Okay, looks like we're a little ahead here. All right, so again, thank you, Jane and the Central Jersey SCORE chapter for having me today. I want to welcome everyone for, taking the time out today and attending this webinar. So as Jane talked about, we are going to talk today about how to maximize your hours without overwhelm. We're really going to focus in, though, on 3 automation tips to run your business seamlessly. Now, as Jane said, I am also a small business owner. I started the business a couple years ago, and, just even sitting to start this presentation and gather my thoughts of what to present brought me back to that time when I first started my business, and I was overwhelmed. As Jane mentioned, I do have 2 children, 2 boys who are now 13 and 11, and I also still work in corporate, but my business was also something that was passionate to me, and I wanted to see it grow. So with that, here's what we'll dive into today. So first of all, we'll talk about why business process automation is important. We'll also talk about what the top 3 tools are that you need now to automate your business. And we'll also talk about how to become more organized and elevate your client experience. Before we dive into all those topics, as I stated it made me refresh my memory on what it felt like to be overwhelmed. So I'd like to do a little visualization exercise with you where we talk about imagining yourself as a small business owner, just feeling overwhelmed by a few things, which could be you sending emails manually, rethinking the text each time you send it. Also creating invoices. Now that could be manually, whether it be weekly, monthly, or quarterly based on your contractual agreements with your clients. And it could also be designing custom proposals to clients each time you have a potential offer. And last but not least, it could be answering phone calls for clients at random times, which also takes you out your focus zone. Okay, so we talk about overwhelm, but today we want to lean a little bit more into the after. So when I work with my clients now, the idea behind what we work to achieve is freedom so that they can work on bigger projects, up level their business, and also just create that ease. So a couple of ways that we do that are we automate their potential client contact form. And you'll hear me interchangeably say throughout our presentation, when I talk about the client contact form, you'll hear me say lead capture form at some point, and those are interchangeable. So if you hear me say that, just know that I'm referencing the client contact form, and that's the initial point of contact for you and your client. We could also automate the notifications and scheduling of a discovery call. Also, for when I mentioned discovery call, that's the initial point of contact that you have with the client where you may be explaining how you can provide a solution to their problem. And last but not least, we can automate sending follow-up emails, proposals, invoices, and even contracts. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me just sounds a little bit more refreshing than the before. So what we're going to do today is discuss how we can implement that for your business. Before I go into the actual tools or systems that could be used, I want to talk about what process automation is. With anything that I do, I like to understand, what it is and why I should be doing it. So with that today, I have a definition that I've defined business process automation as, and it's taking the repetitive tasks that you do in your business and utilizing a system or tool to operate more efficiently. Now, as a business owner, you start out, you're doing everything, you're wearing all the hats, and there may be those, they seem like small tasks, but they seem to take up a lot of your time. So the idea here is to take those small tasks that need to be done to have your business running and systemize them so that you can now focus on the bigger things to allow you to success and excel in your business. I also like to share, in doing a little research for this project, for this presentation, excuse me, I referenced an article from Preferred CEO where it stated that 82% of small businesses fail because of issues with cash flow. Now, you may be wondering, we're here to talk about systems and automation and how that goes into play, but we're going to dive into it just a little bit. So I also looked up an article. This was by a Fundera blog, where they talked about 14% of businesses fail because they ignore their customers. Now, I know today we're talking about automation and we're talking about business processes. So how do they relate? So today we'll get into how I can help you keep your clients happy while increasing your cash flow through systems. Your business really depends on it. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about my 3 top tools that I feel that every business needs in their business. So here you'll see on my slide, starting with number 1, it is a calendar management system. So when you think of calendar management system, thinking of how you schedule and how you just book with your clients and keep track of your calendar. As far as number 2, it's a client relationship management system. And you'll hear me interchangeably say CRM as we go through the workshop today. Just be sure that to know that we're referencing the client relationship management system. And last but not least, I believe every business needs a project and task management tool. And right now we're just listing them out, but as I go through the presentation, we are going to dive a little bit deeper. I'm going to share a little bit more tidbits on each tool. And then towards the end, what I'm going to do is actually share the actual tools that I use and how I use them. So as I stated, number 1 would be a calendar management system. So let's imagine today. How are you booking with your clients? When they find you at 2 o'clock in the morning, are they waiting, sending you an email and then waiting for you to call them back in the morning to book a call? Or when they do book a call with you, and they need to reschedule, are they emailing you back and forth to reschedule? So let's dive into what a calendar management system could do for you. One of the main benefits is it tracks your availability. There's no need now to be able to flip back to your calendar, flip back on the call to see when you're available. With having the calendar management system set up, you're able to do a couple things where each system is a little different, where you could either block off time or you can have set hours that you're available for clients to be able to book times with you. Another key benefit is it allows potential clients to book and receive reminders. I don't know about you, but I even think about like scheduling now a hair appointment and being able to know that, I'm getting either an email reminder, a text reminder in some cases, and it allows me to look ahead and not have that many no-shows or not be able to double book myself. And last but not least, it allows me to integrate with multiple calendars. Now, how this feature is beneficial is we're human beings with multiple pieces of our lives. So when you have your business, you may have a business calendar, but then you also have a personal calendar, which may be like your Google Calendar. So what a calendar management system does is allow you to integrate with those multiple calendars and then allows you to book off time where you may have an appointment. Prime example, I have an appointment with my kids later on today. It's on my calendar. So now it blocks off my scheduler to not allow clients to book an appointment during that time. So the number two system or tool would be a client relationship management system. And I said, you'll hear me interchangeably say CRM as we go through, because try saying that multiple times throughout the presentation and just get tongue-tied. So with the CRM, the huge benefit here is thinking that as you started your business, you may have had 1 or 2 clients and the workload may have been smaller and you are able to track all of that in your head. But the idea of starting your business is to grow and scale. And as you start to grow and scale, you're going to have multiple projects and you're going to have multiple checkpoints. So you want to be able to manage all your projects in one spot so that you're able to deliver rock star service, as I like to say, to your clients. So with that, 3 of the main benefits as far as a CRM would be, as I stated, the power to manage projects in one spot, build a better client relationships. And how you're doing that is in between there in the system, there's ways to create touch points for your clients as far as emails. There's ways to create questionnaires to get to know your clients better and be able to customize different things to make them feel more humanized and not just a transaction. And last but not least, it creates workflows to automate your entire client process. So when I mention workflows and automation, that's the portion that we speak about from where a client finds you on the internet. There may be a contact form that they fill out. That contact form then rolls into your CRM, and it becomes now a client journey where you can nurture this lead, have a discovery call with them, and if they come on to be your client, you can now send your invoices, your contracts, and even your email correspondences to this particular client from all in one place. And again, I don't know about you, but I've even done this morning prior to starting my workday. And it was a simpler process because I didn't have to take the time and energy to rethink, where did I put this? Where did this go? I went straight to this one source, and it allowed me to communicate with my client. Last but not least, we talked about the third tool would be a project management system. So when we think of project management system, a lot of times there's this grand idea that it has to be this big tool, and we don't look at our project management system as needed because it may not reflect the business need. But how I look at it is, as I stated earlier, when you're doing multiple projects, there's different steps that go in between each project. And again, we're human as well, and we have multiple facets to our life. So we may not be able to remember each detail. So some of the benefits of having a project management system is it not only keeps track of all your processes and steps to complete, which is, for example, just the how-tos. For instance, if you're onboarding a client, what you could do inside your project management tool is actually notate each step that's needed to be able to onboard the client, whether that be sending them, the contract, the invoice, and then also a new client questionnaire, or even if there's any personalized things within your business, it allows you to keep track instead of reinventing the wheel each time. Secondly, it allows you to schedule time, manage team capacity, and track your milestones. Again, our goal in starting our businesses are to grow. And as you start to get out of the realm where it's not just you, and there's other team members, and you're working on different projects, and you're working at different capacities, you're able to now communicate with your team in this one resource and be able to deliver the project in a timely manner. And last but not least is it integrates with productivity tools. So yes, I know productivity is such a hot topic right now, especially with everyone working remote. But what I really love about this project management tool is that it doesn't have to be so robust. It can be simple and powerful. Your productivity tool could be your Google Calendar. So what happens now with the project management tool that you use, you're able to integrate it into your Google Calendar so you can see when you're making appointments, oh, I said I would do this team project, or I have this deliverable for a client at this particular day or time. So now you're able to block time and you're able to deliver, as I call it, rockstar service to either your clients, but also to your team members, because you want them to feel valued and not overwhelmed. So we talked a little bit of why and what business process systems automation is. And then I explained in detail a little bit more what the top 3 are. So now I really want to explain a little bit further how I believe in simplifying and streamlining. And my hope really for you today is that it'll help you get an idea of how these systems work in general and how they can work for you. I also want to be clear that systems are not one size fits all. And so what may work for me may not work for you, and that's okay. However, I want us to figure out what's going to help your business grow. As I say within my business, I want to see you win. So let's dive into actually now me showing you the tools that I actually, or explaining the tools that I actually use and how I use them within my business, or how I've used them with other clients. So we talked about the calendar management system, and the one in particular that I use is Acuity Scheduling. Now, there are a bunch of systems out there. For instance, there's Calendly, and I've actually tried a few different ones, but Acuity seemed to fit more likely into my business. So how I use it is as I stated earlier, I use it to track my availability. So what I do now is I have set business hours that I operate in due to the fact that I am still working in corporate, and I also do have 2 small children at home. This allows me to block off my time and know that if I have 2 hours in the evening on Thursday, or I may have discovery calls on Wednesday and only client calls on a certain day, it allows me to block that off so that my clients can now utilize the specialized links for them and be able to book without me and them going back and forth in email. Now, don't forget, life happens. So if there's a reason, something happens and you have to reschedule, it still is very easy because I can do it remotely, either on my phone, or I can log in through the computer and go ahead and do a quick reschedule. And then with me, it also allows me to just do it at a timely space. And secondly, I love this feature where it allows the potential client not only to book, but it sends reminders to both of us. So how I have mine set up currently now is there are, say for instance, a client books a discovery call with me, which is the initial call. What they will do is book their call. I have a reminder that goes out 48 hours because I believe that we are human and life happens. So it lets them know if there's something that came up and they're not able to make our time, they can go ahead and reschedule to something that fits their availability. And then it also sends a reminder 24 hours and 1 hour ahead of our meeting. Now, there are the features to do text message. I haven't had to do that, but again, each business is unique. So if that's something that your business may need, then it's definitely there as a capability as well. Next, we talk about the client relationship management system, or the CRM. So currently for that, I use Dubsado. Now, there are also multiple resources or tools for a CRM. For instance, there's 17 Hats, there's Honeybook, even Salesforce has a CRM. Again, it goes based on your business needs, and those are things that I work with my clients with. We go through what their client process looks like, and then we design the system that fits their business needs. So for instance, for me, what I utilize Dubsado for now is it houses all my client data, all my client information. So each project is outlined, and once a client moves from the phase of being a lead to now, from a potential lead to now a client, there's an onboarding process where I have my contracts pre-created inside of Dubsado. So I may have to go in and maybe edit, the amount of this particular project, or maybe the time. Maybe it may be a monthly retainer instead of a project-based service. So I'll go in and create that contract. It now sends it to the client. They are able to sign. It sends an invoice, which is automatically generated. And then the client is able to sign their contract, pay their invoice. And for me, I do a couple of forms in between. I do believe that there's still a level of connection that people need. So I have things included, which are like, a favorite things questionnaire for my clients, and just a new client questionnaire to make sure I gather all the information that's needed before we start our project, so that there can be a little less back and forth. And last but not least, it allows you to track your sales pipeline and build client relationships. So as far as tracking your sales pipeline, inside of Dubsado, there's also a feature where, as a business owner, you want to understand your numbers. So it gives you an idea of what your goal is for the month and tells you along the way how your sales pipeline is in relation to acquiring that goal. Last but not least, we have ClickUp. So with ClickUp, this is a project and task management tool, which I explained earlier that it becomes a resource for your business. And actually, I use the word hub when I work with clients. What I do is let them know that I utilize my ClickUp or project and task management tool to do team task delegation. For instance, if you have a specific task or project that you're working on with a client, there's ways to communicate with that client within ClickUp to communicate, what needs to be done next, if there's corrections, anything along those lines. And it also becomes an internal headquarter. For me, I have a CEO hub where it houses things from my vision or goals for the business. It houses marketing details. It houses even the client detail, like say, for instance, where I'm at in projects with clients, or if things I need to bring up inside of meetings with clients. So pretty much using it as the go-to resource instead of wondering, did I send that email or did I upload that document for the client? I can now go to this on a day, week, or a monthly basis, or even plan ahead to see what my availability and capacity is for work. And last but not least, this is a little personal piece because I felt that, as I stated, I have multiple facets of my life. So I was getting so organized with business, and then home was kind of left on the outskirts, having its own agenda. So what I created inside my project management tool is a home hub. So what this houses is, for instance, if I have to remember to call, to make a dentist appointment, or if I have to, schedule some time to do some budget review or whatever task we may have internally as a home, it allows me now to put all my tasks into this one view, and I'm able to see, okay, Monday's going to be heavier than Wednesday. Maybe I need to move this task, whether it be home or business related, to another day just to feel a little less overwhelmed. So I know I said 3, but I've got a little special bonus. I wanted to share 2 other tools with you today that I feel that may be very beneficial to small business owners. So I know many of us may have a Gmail account, but as you become a business owner, when I started with just having a Gmail account, but I feel that there's a level of service and a level of visibility you have when you are fine tuning your business. So I signed up for G Suite, which I absolutely love because it allows me to now customize my email utilizing my domain name. It also, I use it for file storage and management system. So what I use in there is Google Drive, and a lot of us have that, but now this is specific to my business. So inside of there, I store and easily organize my client documents and business files. So when I talk about client documents, there are templates that I use with clients, again, so that we're not reinventing the wheel and losing our creativity on repetitive tasks. And also, as far as the business files, how many times have you had to, look for your EIN number or find, formation documents that you had for your business or even your tax documents? So what I've been doing is actually utilizing my G Suite account to house all my business information and focus on my clients, my leads, and also the business operations that keeps the business afloat. And last but not least is this beauty here called Airtable. So Airtable, for those who may not know, if you think of having Excel and then using a database, it's like a little baby that they had. So with Airtable, I call it like a beefed up spreadsheet, because what you're able to do is not just create a spreadsheet like what you would in Excel. You're able to now use different functionalities to be able to do things. For instance, what I use it for is lead generation tracking. So just like with your project management tool, you can use this lead generation tracking template to be able to follow up with either leads that you may have, or it could be potential clients that you may say that, I want to follow up with them 3, 6 months, 12 months down the line after our project has ended. It allows you to create a template in there and be able to set reminders and sort through, just like with a database. So, and another key thing that you may not know, or you may, but there's a way to actually use it for social media content batching. And I know that we're not getting into that today, but just a tidbit on that. With Airtable, there's a way to be able to create an area for you to brainstorm your content, even be able to upload images, full images or links, and be able to view the information in either a in a view as if you were posting it on social media, or if you were saving it just to, go through an approval process with your team. So with that today, I really hope that you were able to demystify a little bit, or even learn something a little bit more about how one process or one tool can be able to help you to automate your business and put you in a better place to have less overwhelm and create more ease for your business. So I would love to keep in touch. As Jane said, there is a PDF that I created, which will allow you to, for those who watch the replay, or even those now, if you want to go back and catch something that maybe you didn't before, it'll allow you to go through, fill it out, and then put a little thought into how it could actually benefit you if you automate one, even two tasks within your business. And also, if you have any questions, I have this screen here. You could take a screenshot and you could either email me, or I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and also LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, my name is Tanisha Halstead, and we can answer any questions that you may have. Did we have any questions today, Jane?
I don't see any questions in the Q&A section, so we're open for any questions that you might have. Maybe you have a specific question about one of the tools that Tanisha asked about, or one question I had was the tools that you mentioned is there, I presume there's a charge for some of them. How does that work? Are they free? Is there a charge?
Yeah, so with Acuity, which is for scheduling, so they do have a free version. Of course, there's limitations to, each system with the free version, but they do have a free version if you do want to test it out. I currently have the paid version because one of the features that I like about Acuity in the paid version is, say there's a service that you offer to a client, they can fill out, the information that you need, and they can prepay for the service prior to them coming to the meeting. So that's a paid feature. And there's a few other customization things that are allowed on the paid version. As far as Dubsado, which is the CRM, they allow you the first 3 clients that you place inside of it. And usually it's 3, but I would say 2, because as you're learning a new system, what we tend to do is put ourselves in there as a test. So, so you can test the things that you're creating and see how they visually look for your clients. But they allow you up to 3 free clients first to test out their system. And then once you've reached that, you can either go to a monthly subscription, or you can go to a yearly subscription. I think it's about $35 monthly, and then about 300 something roughly for the year, if you decide to do the annual plan. As far as the project management tool, so there are multiple ones out there. I tend to tell people, look, when you think of a project management tool, are you a visual learner where you like to see colors? Maybe you're into seeing cards and you want to be able to move things one side to the other when they're done. So for that, there's Trello, which has a free version. They have a paid version as well, but when I started my business, I used Trello, and it was fine pretty much with the free version. Now, if you're someone who's more of a list person, they have a platform called Asana, which also offers a free version as well. And there's ClickUp, which is the one that I use, which is kind of like they had a baby. So you are able to still see that visual aspect of the cards, but then you're also able to utilize a list view, and it just has a lot of integrations. So they have a free version as well, but then they also have a paid version, which is I think about 100 something for the year that I've paid for that. Yeah, so most of them do have a free version for you to be able to test it, see if it works for you. And then as you go along, you can move up to the paid version.
Yeah, that seems to me to be good, because it's hard to figure out all of these systems. So you kind of have to try them on
Yeah,
and
no,
see if it works and how it works and all of that, and just experiment a little bit. And if you don't like it,
yeah,
then you're not out anything.
exactly. And when I work with clients, that is one of the things that I hear a lot. As a small business owner, you're entering different spaces and you're seeing different systems or tools. So you start piecing things together, and a lot of them have spent time and money and invested into these systems, and they're not optimizing them, and they're not actually giving them the benefit that they thought. So what we do is actually, talk through the process of what their systems that they currently have, go through what may be working for them and what's not working for them, so that we can customize and see how to streamline it a lot better.
If you're just starting out in your business, and so you may not know exactly which one of these systems you need and all of that. I know we tend to wait until we're totally overwhelmed, and then we try to figure this out and try to figure out a solution.
Yeah.
But if I'm just starting and I don't really know, I don't have a lot of clients yet, is there one system that you think would be the best one to start with, even before you know kind of what you need?
So I would definitely say you need a scheduler. Because to me, that eliminates, if that's the main touch point of your business where you have client contact, whether it's the initial contact or you have to have other meetings with them, I do think you need a scheduler, because the days of going back and forth in email or through text message or something like that, I think are far gone. Now, I'll add on that with a CRM, it actually, depending on which one you get, but when you're first starting out, some may not have the free version, but depending on which one you start with, you can house all of that in that one system. Like for instance, Dubsado, it has a scheduler, it has the ability for you to send forms and have your clients digitally sign them. It has the availability for you to create custom forms. Like if there's questions, like I said, I have a favorite things questionnaire that I ask my clients, because I personally like to send them a gift. So instead of just sending them a random gift card, instead it could be their favorite restaurant, or it could be, maybe most recently I had a client that, she preferred an athletic brand. So I was able to send her something from there. So it allows you to customize what you're doing for the clients. And that is exactly why I was saying it also allows you to maximize your hours, because think of those emails that you're repetitively sending. In Dubsado, you're able to have a canned email section, which is pretty much templates of the emails that you send most of the time. And for example, some of them that I have are, welcome emails for clients, follow-up emails when there's steps of things that I need the clients to send me. There could be follow-up emails as far as like payment, So just things along those lines, you're able to save within there.
So do you then link your CRM? So when I go to your website and it says contact me, do you have something then linked to the contact me site? Is that your
Yes.
So if I contact you, where does that go?
So on my website, if you fill out the contact me form, it actually, that is a embedded form, like not heavy coding. There's a link that is put into your website. If you developed a website or someone else did it, it's just a link that you provide them and they can embed it into your website. So then that is an automation piece. So when you fill it out, it then flows directly into the CRM. So there's not that retyping of information. It is saved within the CRM, and now I can take that client and take them on a journey, move them from a potential to, it has the way I have it set up is, once you fill out that form, it initiates an email to you to schedule a call. And, obviously telling you thank you because you didn't have to do that. So telling you thank you, it allows you to set up a call with me. And then from there is where you get those reminders of when our call is coming up. And then from there, along the journey is sending the contract, the invoice, and then starting our work together.
Okay. And that's all through the CRM. That's all through Dubsado.
Yes.
That's very cool.
And like I said, there's other platforms. There's Honeybook. There's another one called 17 Hats. And even Salesforce has a CRM. But I think the beauty of it is I like to tell people it creates a resource in one place for you. Instead of you, running to your Google Drive to pull the contract and then running to QuickBooks to like create an invoice. It's now in one particular spot.
And the best way to do it is just play with it, right?
Yeah, definitely. But if
don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. So don't be afraid of it. But I also believe in simple and powerful. When I have have clients who are starting out in the system, we work together to set it up to match their business needs. But what we also do is keep it simple. Because before you can get into the robust pieces of it, we work on creating each segment for them. And then the last phase is us automating and doing those workflow things. We have packages set up where we can work to create it for you. And then we also have packages where you can maintain, we can, like, say, for instance, down the line, your business model changes and you need to go in and you're not really sure. There's the capability to help you with that as well.
Does anybody other than me have any questions? I guess I'm the slowest one on the call here.
Oh, someone said it was a good question, Jane.
We do have a question from Angela. She said, I use QuickBooks Online and an industry-specific project management system that links to it, plus Dropbox and OneNote. And they both seem like they do a little of this, but how does something like Dubsado coordinate? Or would it just be another piece to keep track of?
Okay, so I'm going to see if I could pull that question up so I can make sure I'm reading it correctly.
Yes, uses QuickBooks and another management
online, and she uses Dropbox and OneNote, and they seem to do a little bit of this, but how does that? Okay, so I would need to know what exactly you're putting into Dropbox and OneNote, because if you could drop that in the chat, Angela, that would be good. Because QuickBooks does integrate with Dubsado, and Dubsado does invoicing and has a accounting dashboard as well. I'm actually working with a client who's utilizing that right now. As far as Dropbox, that's it, if I'm thinking correctly, and you can correct me in the comments also, but with Dropbox, that is just like what I mentioned at the end about file storage and document management. So that's pretty much just storage of your documents. The reason why I like Google Drive instead is because of really the flexibility of the system. I mean, we can be honest here. Google kind of runs those platforms. As far as Dropbox, the things that I tell my clients is storing things like video on Dropbox due to the size of the image and the quality of it. As far as OneNote, from my understanding, that's just a digital note-taking app. So inside of Dubsado, there is an area to put notes and put, hold on, I think she might be. Okay, so you said that Dropbox does what G Suite does, but I can also email from it. So are you saying you're emailing the documents from Dropbox, or you're sending general emails to your client? Because in order to advise, it's just like when I have free consultations with my clients, I hear exactly what they're doing so that I can understand the full process before I go ahead and recommend tools or systems for them to change to.
Yeah.
But currently, it does seem like the systems that you have, they are doing things, but they're pieced together. I think the beauty of what I was explaining is that it places them in one arena. Proofs and transfer links can be emailed. Oh, so she said proofs and transfer links can be emailed without having a Gmail address to access. So I send documents from G Suite or Google Drive, I should say, which don't require people to have a Gmail address to access them. In fact, the PDF that will be sent out afterwards is saved in my Google Drive, but you don't have to have a Gmail address to access. There's a way to share documents without that, if that helps.
Okay, and I think, you know, if you have even more specific questions, maybe I'll speak for Tanisha, but I'm sure you'd be glad to answer a few specific questions.
Sure.
After the webinar.
Sure, so maybe, definitely.
I think she's looking for integration of all the systems.
Yeah.
So maybe you could answer that with Angela after the webinar, and
sounds good.
Give her
definitely, Angela. If I do offer free consults, so if you'd like to discuss further, I can definitely do that with you. My email is here. You can go ahead and send me an email, and I'll definitely respond. But yeah, I do think that there's a way for you to integrate various systems. But again, I would need to understand your whole process to be able to provide any recommendations off of that.
Yeah, it gets a little complicated, I think.
Yeah.
So if there aren't any more questions, I don't see any more questions. So maybe Angela and Tanisha can connect offline. Tanisha, I want to thank you so much for the information. I'm going to go check out some of these things as well, because I do get overwhelmed. I need all the help that I can get.
Awesome.
I want to thank you. We will send everyone an email. It will have Tanisha's presentation and then the worksheet that she's providing as well. And good luck. And we hope everybody is less overwhelmed in the next couple of weeks as you look at all these different tools that Tanisha has shared with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Jane.
And go to centraljersey.score.org and get a mentor. A mentor can help you with some of these things as well as a lot of your other business needs. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.